I am officially back, and we are going to go over some big time news. We're going to hit on some NFL free agency news. We're going to hit on some recaps of Raw and SmackDown from last week, and also preview Raw tonight. I've got my notes here on the left. That's why I'm glancing over. Going to give it a minute before people maybe get in, jump out, whatever. Catch it on the replay, and might be a quick one tonight. We'll see. But we're going to start with the results from last week's episode of Raw. That was I believe in Buffalo and Philly. SmackDown was in Philly this Friday night. CM Punk and Seth Rollins kicked off the show last week, and they will probably main event the show tonight in Madison Square Garden with the steel cage match. They brawled for a good 20 minutes after CM Punk started everything off and was calling out everyone, The Rock, John Cena, and Seth Rollins, which ultimately again led to them brawling around the arena, all for a good 20 minutes portion of the show. And then we went into a non-title match with world champion Gunther. And my thing is, why do they continue to make every other world champion look like the weakest person on the roster besides Gunther, the most boring one outside of Cody, which that's a whole nother level of boring. But there's no excitement in the world title picture on either side as of right now, with given the results of Raw last week, and now we don't know where Rhea is going to go. I do see someone is in here, so thank you for joining. Double tap the screen there, give it a like, and share it out. Helps out a lot, and don't forget to subscribe. Um, Gonna go over the results for WWE, Raw, SmackDown, and then preview tonight, and then go over the Steelers news once again. And if you're jumping in, jumping out, that's fine. Not a big deal. We will see who else joins and everything. That was Gunther defeated Otis. That goes into the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Lyra Valkyria did retain and defeat Ivy Nile. They do the same thing with the women's mid-card division. They are just giving us the same matchups every single week. We had the week before Dakota Kai beating Ivy Nile in a number one contenders match. And to me, if you're going to have a number one contenders match, have Dakota Kai win that. Why have her go the next week and then lose, get squashed, and then get attacked? It doesn't make any sense. And Ivy Nile said she's going to keep going after the IC title there until she gets it. Just give her the match and give her the win. Lyra Valkyria has done nothing with the title. They have really given her nothing. It's not her fault, but it's not any excitement right now. An eventual match against Becky Lynch or one of the four horsewomen going after that title would be fantastic. That matchup went into Penta attacking Ludwig Kaiser after calling him out last week for stealing the win in the triple threat against him and Pete Dunne. That then goes into the World Tag Team Championship match where the War Raiders did retain their titles against American Made. We did have them once again talk about Chad Gable being on his journey and saying that he wants American Made to have gold whenever he gets back. They showed a little bit of a promo vignette type thing with Chad Gable where he's at. No concrete word on where he's at, but I'm sure he will be back soon. Hopefully at some point. The War Raiders are on a tear right now, so their title reign is fun, and they're doing really good, putting on banger of matches week after week. That goes into Braun Breaker, another champion who has not been featured as of late. To the one person that's in here, thank you. Double tap the screen. Two people in here. Double tap the screen, the both of you, and give it a like and help me get out to the shorts algorithm. This is the first time I've done one of the vertical lives for the podcast in a while, or first time ever. And then the other times were just previews for Raw or SmackDown there. So thank you for the two people that are in or staying in. Make sure you give it a like. Helps out a lot, and it's free. Also, subscribing is free as well. Braun Breaker and the Judgment Day had this really weird segment, I would say. Went to commercial, came back, and Finn Balor was in the ring. Braun Breaker was being interviewed, and I'm sick and tired of them doing these interviews here in the U.S. while we're on commercial and everywhere else gets to see it because there's no commercials on the broadcast for anywhere else on Netflix with Raw. Braun Breaker then makes his way into the ring, where he was ambushed by Carlito and Dom, and it showed Braun is a dog, and he is one of the better talent on the Raw roster, and he should be featured more. I want to see the Intercontinental title be featured more. Don't think they're going to do it. Thank you for the one person that did get the like out there. Greatly appreciate that. I wouldn't mind seeing Dom and Finn against Braun, and Dom getting away with the win and finally getting some gold for the for the greatest Mysterio out there. That goes into the main event where Io Sky would defeat Rhea Ripley. Once again, Rhea Ripley has not ever beaten Io Sky, so I think they are. What's up, Chad? Yes, it has been a long time. I'm doing good. Gonna try to stay more consistent with it. Like you said, it's been a long time. Gonna try to do more of these as I get into the my new job and everything and figure out the schedule. Might do just doing when I can, given everything else that is going on. But we're gonna can't guarantee how long it's gonna be. Whenever I do get a chance to do these, but we're gonna go for it. And I'm sure you're excited for the Steelers news that I'll get into at the end here. Maybe some other news will break. Hopefully, maybe we find out who's going to be throwing the ball to DK Metcalf this season. Of seeing that it could be Aaron Rodgers. But back to Raw. We got yeah, we the main event of Raw last week, and I appreciate you hitting the like button. Helps me out a lot there. Io Sky remains undefeated against Rhea Ripley, and Rhea Ripley's path to WrestleMania is now uncertain. There's been reports going around that she's not going to be used, and her match is in jeopardy as a whole, not just her title match there. I don't buy that for a second until reliable sources will can dish that out. But Rhea Ripley was chirping at Bianca, and Bianca sort of led to her not paying attention and get losing her title, which is kind of heelish from Bianca there. So it goes along with the events that we saw on Friday night with the promo of her and Naomi. And as of right now, March 10th, we only have 4 matches for WrestleMania, the 4 world title matches. Jey Uso and Gunther for the world heavyweight title, Cody Rhodes and Cena for the WWE title, Io and Bianca for the women's world title, and Charlotte and Tiffany for the WWE women's title. And out of those 4 matches, the one match that I was excited for, I'm excited for Tiffany and Charlotte, no doubt, but the one I was more excited for the money matchup of Rhea and Bianca, and now we're getting Io, and it is what it is. It just doesn't excite me as much as what Rhea and Bianca would. Same with Jade. Potential of Jade and Bianca is pushed until next year at this point. Um, and then we got, I mean, only 4 matches right now, and then I'm sure within the next 2 weeks we're going to see the filler matches being added. And I don't think both main events are have been made yet. I think Cena and Cody will main event one, and Jey Uso and Gunther I think will open night one. I think that's how they start off the weekend. It just came out that Jay wants either Drake, Kendrick, or somebody else to walk him to the ring with his entrance and everything. So I can see that being how they open it and get that started. I mean, in WrestleMania 35, Rollins opened up the show as the underdog to Brock Lesnar, beat him for the Universal title, and that's how they started it off. I don't see any reason why they can't do that with Jey Uso and starting things off that way and having him the underdog beat Gunther, who has been super boring. Um, Better champion at this point than Cody, but I mean that's not hard to do. The other filler matches that I think are gonna be thrown onto the card is Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, Could do a gauntlet match of Braun, Finn, Dom, Sheamus, and Chad Gable. Jade Cargo, Naomi, Lyra Valkyria, and Ivy Nile. Maybe throw Dakota Kai in there as and make it an interesting, make it a triple threat. Throw a stipulation on there. What United States Women's United States title. Chelsea Green, Michin, Piper Niven, Alba Fire, BFAB. They'll be in the mix. Those 4 or 5 members of the SmackDown roster. Then I think we're going to get a ladder match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. That is the SmackDown tag titles. Pretty deadly. I think they're going to win this whenever they get their chance, since they are deemed the #1 contenders, as was LA Knight against DIY, of course, Motor City Machine Guns, and then the Street Profits. You could also throw out Legado del Fantasma, Los Garza, whatever they're going by at this point. The Other than the Street Profits, I think the SmackDown Tag Team division is probably one of the weaker divisions on in the WWE right now. Again, Chad, thank you for sticking this out and being the one if you are the one person still in here, I do appreciate that. And don't forget to don't feel free don't be afraid to chat and drop your thoughts down with these matches that I'm fantasy booking and throwing out there as we're winding down, getting to the SmackDown results here, then can go into previewing tonight and some Steelers news. Pretty deadly Motor City Machine Guns. Other than the Profits, I mean, the tag division is pretty weak. And then I could see the World Tag Team Championship being on defended in a tornado tag match. Appreciate you, man. The War Raiders, let them ride it out. Let them hold those titles for a minute. And against the New Day, LWO, and American Made, I could also see American Made getting the win there. I wouldn't mind that at all. And then this one might surprise a lot of people whenever they do get a chance to go back and watch this, but Rhea Ripley maybe finding a partner, maybe a Becky Lynch coming back and helping her, and facing Liv and Raquel for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. That one kind of came to me last minute. I did say about Becky and Lyra, since they kind of had like a mentor mentee type of thing going in before Becky was off TV there for a second. And that's going to do it for Raw from last week. We go into SmackDown there at the Wells Fargo Center in Philly, right across the street from where the greatest championship reign was ended last year. We got Randy Orton opens the show, and he was just running his mouth and rambling more than Bray Wyatt's rambling rabbit. I mean, he just was going and giving us a summary of everything that has been going on for the last 3 months. Didn't care for it at all. He called out Kevin Owens, so I think that's the way they're going. Said about Sami Zayn, and again, Kevin Owens goes from Cody Rhodes 3 championship matches against him that he should have won every single one, to hardcore match again with Sami Zayn, which is Sami Zayn's bounced around being in the mix against Cody and with Cody against Cody, stepping to Cody, stepping to Kevin. So it's just a whole big mess. Cody's being protected from everyone on the SmackDown roster at this point, or Sammy's case, the Raw roster. And it's great to see Orton back, but again, it just doesn't. I don't care about him versus Kevin Owens. I just don't. And then where does Sami Zayn go? That went into a backstage segment with Nick Aldis, Piper Niven, Tiffany Stratton, and Chelsea Green. This goes into the non-title match of Tiffany and Piper. Tiffany would get the win, and again, then was attacked by Charlotte Flair. So they've switched already. They got Charlotte as the heel, and they are going all in on turning Tiffany Stratton face, which I don't mind. But again, why do we got to make the champions look weak outside of Cody and outside of Gunther? For weeks after he lost to Cody, he was getting beat up left and right, attacked backstage, and then all of a sudden now he's beating up the guy that wins the Royal Rumble. It doesn't do anything, doesn't help anyone, doesn't make any sense, and it's not entertaining at all. That also led to Tiffany Stratton defeating Piper Niven. Charlotte attacked her, and then I do believe later in the show at some point, Charlotte would come face-to-face with BFAB and set up their match next week on SmackDown in Barcelona. That is going to go down, and then that went to the triple threat tag team match for the number one contenders match for those tag titles. Pretty Deadly defeated Los Garza and Motor City Machine Guns, and Santos Escobar has all the everything in the world to say to his two goons there for losing when he's lost about 14 out of his last 20 matches. So pretty big talk for someone who can't get wins himself. Regardless, all these guys, they belong in 205 Live. Being on my TV on Friday is the easiest way to get me to not pay attention and lose all interest in what's going on Friday nights there on the Blue brand. Motor City Machine Guns, they look like a boy band, and Los Garza, they just do nothing but stand there. Same with Andrade. He tried to talk to Garza, whichever one it was, and I couldn't understand a word that he said. So hopefully, Selena Vega we see a pairing of those two, or maybe even with Malachi Black being a free agent now. Whenever he does make a return to the WWE, he's partnered with Zelina Vega, and we see that going forward. That went into the Bianca and Naomi promo. Naomi finally told the truth. She was the one that took out Jade. I had said that originally, didn't want to believe it, but I figured that was what happened. Bianca turned her back, of course, walked out. Jade shows up and beats the hell out of Naomi. Once again, two appearances since being out for 3+ months, and she's doing is attacking Naomi, kind of making her. I don't. She hasn't said a word since she's been back. So they're going that way with that. It is a way for Bianca to pull herself away from SmackDown and be able to focus and stay on Raw, since she's not a tag team champion anymore. She has to be on a brand. She's deemed SmackDown to the SmackDown roster, but if she's facing the Raw champion, that path is going to pull her towards being on the Raw roster. And then you can get Jade and Naomi, but I do also could see them pulling one over, and we could get that Naomi and Bianca were working together, and they set up the attack together. That goes into Braun Strowman and Solo Sikoa, which ended via no contest, and then Jacob Fatu. Braun Strowman absolutely gave the Philly crowd what they're used to, a brawl all throughout the Wells Fargo Center there, and Fatu went through two tables and was still standing on his feet. I don't see how these two don't get a match at WrestleMania. But knowing the way that things go, they throw these two along with Tozawa and Otis and the rest of the mid card, lower tier mid card R Truth and all those names into the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. The SmackDown before WrestleMania, which there's also some Hall of Fame news that just came out from WWE there. And Jacob Fatu could get a win there, but I don't see how you don't have Strowman and Fatu at WrestleMania, or Strowman and Solo, which that was another match that I forgot to throw on there my fantasy booking. That went into the Women's United States Championship street fight. Chelsea Green would defeat Michin. They started this one out the same way that the last three have gone. Michin, and then all of a sudden Piper does show up after selling her being in pain from her match with Tiffany. Doesn't the two don't go hand in hand? She was out of it, and then all of a sudden was there to attack Michin. That did lead to BFAB coming out to help. I believe it was her. I can't at this point. I don't remember. And then Chelsea would go on to win, and with the help of Alba Fire, and her return after her tag partner was released about 2 months ago at this point, and the crowd, there was no reaction. The crowd went absolutely mild, and that led to Chelsea retaining. Then we got the same old promo, nearly in tears, mentioning Dusty, mentioning Libby, Brandy, Cody. He's our champion. Cena attacked him, and he's the black guy and holding the title. It's not too heavy for him. He nearly a year. He finished his story. He checked all the boxes for a classic Cody Crybaby promo. Also, we've revisited the attack about 14 times throughout the show. Um, and I mean, they made sure to hit every single angle and every single language with every single reaction, every sign, every kid in tear, every streamer, everything. They made sure to hit every single part of the heel turn, as they did on Raw last week. They played it at least 5 times, every hour. And then that went into, of course, Drew McIntyre defeated Jimmy Uso, which was another lackluster rematch that we've gotten 4 times in the last 5 weeks or whatever it's been. I This was my bathroom break, so I missed anything surrounding this segment. Damian Priest then attacked Drew McIntyre after the match, which led to was retaliation from McIntyre attacking Priest at the beginning of the show, saying about he screwed me, blah blah blah, whine whine whine, the classic McIntyre mentality there. And then we got the United States Championship main eventing the show tonight. LA Knight defeated Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura held the title since January. Only had 2 title defenses, again, both against LA Knight. LA Knight never should have lost the title to begin with. Never should have lost it to Shinsuke Nakamura. And no one said a word about Shin and his lack of championship defenses. But everyone was all over Logan Paul. So I guess it's only okay to say something about Logan Paul when, or say something about a champion that doesn't defend the title when it's either Roman Reigns or it's Logan Paul, because no one says a word about Cody Rhodes and his 8 title defenses in 1 year as well. Logan Paul again, he brought prestige back to the U.S. title, back to the mid card division, and again he is now a star on Raw and world champion by the end of next year at least, if not by the end of this year. To the person in here now, if that's still you, Chad, I do appreciate it big time. Make sure you share it out. Appreciate it even more. And we're getting close to previewing Raw here, and then we'll jump into some NFL news. But that was the LA Knight regains the U.S. title he never should have lost, and I hope he holds it into going into WrestleMania. And Jimmy Uso is the one to defeat him in Las Vegas here, coming up in less than roughly around 39, less than 40 something days. And that is going to bring us into Raw tonight, live from Madison Square Garden. Speaking of Logan Paul, he was called out by AJ Styles. Him and Styles had a bump in backstage, and Adam Pearce did announce via Twitter that Logan Paul and AJ Styles will both be in attendance for Raw tonight. Will we see them have a match this week? Next week, will they just push it to Mania and have that be Logan's Mania match this year? I wouldn't hate it. I'm not a big AJ fan, but I wouldn't hate it. I mean, it's just going to be another match that Logan can go out there and show out and shut everyone up and show that he can hang with the best of the best. Seth Rollins, check. Rey Mysterio, check. The Miz, check. Dom, check. Seth Rollins, check. I figured we might see that Cena and Logan match. Maybe they're saving that for SummerSlam, and we get Cena and Logan on night 1 or 2 of SummerSlam coming up this year. That will be tonight. The call out there also announced Cody Rhodes and Io Sky will both be live and in attendance there at Madison Square Garden. LWO and the New Day in a tornado tag match. Jey Uso versus Grayson Waller, a steel cage match probably for the main event, which fingers crossed, hoping for, leading to a Roman Reigns return, setting up the triple threat that I think should main event WrestleMania and main event night 2 of WrestleMania, because Roman Reigns not in the main event on night 2 is just unnatural. That is also going to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. Will be live on Peacock April 18th. That is Friday following SmackDown at 1 a.m. our time here on the eastern side of the states, from one of the newer hotels on the Strip in Las Vegas there. That was announced earlier today. And of course, going to try to get around 30 minutes, but we got some news for the NFL. Last night, Sunday before free agency, as they did last year before when signing Russell Wilson. Steelers trade a second round draft pick to the Seahawks for DK Metcalf. They released Larry Ojanobi. They offered Jalen Warren a 1-year deal and signed Ryan McCollum, a center, for 1 year. Justin Fields signs with the Jets, 2 years, $40 million, $30 million fully guaranteed. The Steelers offered him 2 years, $30 million or $40 million with $20 million guaranteed. And Sam Darnold to the Seahawks, 3 years, $110 million with 55 fully guaranteed. Of course, there was other news and everything like that. Haven't seen any Rodgers news as of right now. I know that that's been the talk of the day of Twitter going down over and over again. Um, Looks like center Ryan Kelly just signed with the Vikings on a 2-year deal, 18 million, 9 guaranteed. Malik Harrison to the Steelers, 2 years, $10 million deal. Zach Wilson's going to the Dolphins for a year. That was 11 minutes ago. Trying to see something else. Anything else with Ron Woodson's birthday today? 2 years, 10 million. Nothing here right now for Aaron Rodgers. Anything? Yeah, nothing for Rodgers as of right now. I know we're getting up there, nearing the 30-minute mark on this. Again, the Steelers finally pulled their heads out of their rears and get a legit number 2 wide. That's right. I mean, number 2 wide receiver. You got 2 ones now. That was what Pat McAfee and all those guys were saying today on the show. They actually had Big Ben on there. Darius Slay, yes, Darius Slay was also one of the ones that the Steelers did pick up. It's coming out now that DK Metcalf wanted a fresh start, new contract, and most important, a chance to win. He did not, according to his representation, say anything about playing in a warm climate, and Metcalf is all in on playing in Pittsburgh and the rugged AFC North, per Tom Pelissero, the one who broke the news where I saw it first last night, and the trade there with the Seahawks and the Steelers. So I'm going to NFL Twitter. Last week, Zach Wilson and the center there from the Colts. Justin Watson from the Chiefs going to the Texans. Charvarius Ward, Niners to the Colts. Josh Dobbs going to the Patriots. And of course, to round it off and end it here at 30 minutes, the most Browns thing ever I thought was giving Myles Garrett $40 million to get him to stay after he said he wanted out. But not only that, they trade Dorian Thompson-Robins to the Eagles in exchange for Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett back in the AFC North, only this time in Cleveland. Hopefully we get the TJ Watt contract on soon. I agree. Got to get him paid before anyone else on in his position gets the pen to paper. Kenny Pickett going to the Browns is kind of funny. That is for Dorian Thompson-Robinson and a 5th round pick. So it will be cool to see Kenny Pickett twice a year, and also see some Browns fans eat their words on all the jokes that came his way when he was in Pittsburgh, given the fact that he only got those jokes because he was in Pittsburgh. So that will be fun to see him back in the AFC North. Nate Hobbs to the Packers. Brandon Stevens, former Raven, some movements more in the north there to the Jets. Also Justin Fields to the Jets. Dante Jackson going to the Chargers. 2-year, $13 million. I think that was about it as of for right now. So that is going to be episode 72 here. Again, don't know when the next one's going to be, this longer form, but in the shorts feed, here as we hit the 30-minute mark. This is Nick Weitoish of Sleeper Sports Media, correspondent for No Dirt Sheets, and of course Tribal Rain Media. Kenny Pickett, just don't use the hot clue to keep the he's gonna have to. I'm anxious to see how that unfolds and what Cleveland does and has to say for him there being their new guy. That's gonna do it for this episode, though. So, Chad, appreciate you for joining. Everyone else, catch it on the replay, and we'll be announcing whenever I'm coming back for another live episode, short episode there, to go over as we hit NFL free agency and coming into the draft, and then of course the WNBA coming up, and also the road to WrestleMania is going to heat up more and more over the next couple weeks. We're going to get more matches announced, and that's going to be great to see. Happy to be back and get these out more and more whenever I can. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Nick Weitosh of Sleeper Sports Media.